is how I avoid junk food and maintain my discipline so I can achieve my health goals. This goes deeper than just not having the food in your house, because that doesn't work. It doesn't work when you're at somebody else's house and the junk food is there staring you in the face, begging to be eaten. Like David Goggins says in his book, your mind has the tactical advantage over you. It knows your weaknesses, it knows your insecurities, and it will tap into those whenever it can to make you do what it wants, which is short-term pleasure and comfort. And let me tell you a little secret. Your goals will never be achieved by indulging in short-term pleasure and comfort. Otherwise, you would have already done it. You have already achieved it already. So my whole secret to not only making healthier choices, but sticking to them and staying disciplined is by regaining that tactical advantage over the mind. When it comes to junk food, I have two major lines of defense. The first is motivation, and the second I like to call bait and switch. So the first line of defense is motivation, and I'm not talking about the big rah-rah speeches and loud music. That only works for about 5 seconds. Let me describe what motivation looks like for me in my brain. First, I define my health goals. Why am I making this change? Is it to look better, to feel better, perform better, to think better, to sleep better? It can be all those things, but be specific. They need to be clearly defined. For me, it's to achieve and maintain an excellent blood sugar control, because as a type 1 diabetic, that's really important to me. It's also to maintain a physique that makes me comfortable taking my shirt off in public. Believe it or not, that was a big fear for me growing up and for most of my life, really. I also want to be able to perform at a high level, both in the gym and at work, so mentally and physically. I also want to prevent sickness or illness, so avoiding flu and colds and stuff like that. And I want to do it for so long and consistent that I have the highest quality of life until the end of my life. Once we have those goals defined, now we need to make sure that every food choice is a conscious decision. Don't just say yes because somebody offers you something or because it's the only thing in the household. Before each time you put something in your mouth, ask yourself, is this going to help me get closer to achieving my health goals or further away from them? If it doesn't, then the answer is simple. Say no thank you and move on with your life. Your new healthy life, that is. Now there's a second part to this motivational defense that I have in my brain if that junk food is still teasing my mind, and that's holding a grudge. I remind myself how that food makes me feel, how it makes me look, how it makes me function, and that's not what I want. It's not worth the price. It's not worth wrecking all the tremendous progress you made and the momentum you built towards achieving your goals. So when someone offers me a pizza or a donut, say, nah bro, I'm good. Now for me, that line of motivational thinking works a vast majority of the time. But there's always going to be those scenarios where the cravings are so strong that it's driving you crazy. That's where the bait and switch comes in. The bait and switch is pretty simple. When you're craving something, it's usually a very specific food. It might be something like that chocolate chip ice cream that's in the freezer, or that fast food restaurant that's just around the corner. So stop and think about what exactly about that food am I craving? Is it the saltiness of it? Is it the sweetness of it? Is it the cold, refreshing feeling that I get? Or is it the warm coziness that it provides? Or is it the crunch of it? And it may be a few of those things. But whatever it is, once you identify that, simply switch it out for something healthier. An example might be that if you're craving ice cream, you switch it out for frozen berries, or even you can go even further and blend up those berries, and that's almost basically ice cream. Or switching out salty chips for salty vegetables. This one's a pretty common one for me. I crave salt quite a bit. So I'll just take some vegetables or whatever it is really, and I will just salt the crap out of it. Ultimately, once I'm done eating that, those cravings are pretty much gone. And as long as you've identified the craving correctly, by the time you're done eating the healthy option, your craving for the junk food will be gone. I still use this trick today, but I used it a ton when I was getting started on my health journey. And that's pretty much in a nutshell how I work through the process of staying disciplined in those tough moments. And let me just say this, the whole process of getting healthier is not just filled with misery and suffering because you're trying to avoid all these things that you love. The toughest part is really just at the beginning. The toughest part is change. Change might be the most feared thing on this earth, and for good reason. Change is hard. But on the other side of change is something incredible. It's you feeling great, it's you looking great, it's you performing great, and ultimately living the life that you deserve. Because when you take care of your body will take care of you.